How's it, Scott?
Good in you, Hans. Nice to see you, albeit on Zoom. But
Yes.
such are the times. Unfortunately, self-isolating here. But I'm happy to see you, and I'm happy that we could have this conversation.
Yeah, luckily technology's on our side, so we can at least do this.
Yeah, a bit of a VAR.
Yeah.
And talking about VAR, what did you think about the Kane penalty?
Yes,
The decider.
I must say, my first instinct. I was on the phone with my brother, and my first instinct was no penalty. Was my first thought. But it's tough, eh? I mean, VAR had a look at it. There was minimal contact. But I mean, to not give the decision after the ref gave it. Apparently, you have to give a reason why you say it's not a penalty. If they said it's not a penalty, it would have had to be a yellow card for simulation.
Yes.
What do you think?
Look, I'm a big fan of VAR when they let the on-field referee also get involved in the decision.
Yeah.
So I felt that it should have been dealt with in that manner because there was definitely a touch. But on VAR, when they slow it down, you can't really see how much of a touch, if it was hard or soft. So I think the on-field ref should have been involved and sent to his screen to have a look at it as well.
Yes.
But look, if you think about it, in the same half, Kane went down, and he also appealed for a penalty. And there was a lot more contact in that one than the last one. So I felt that justice, even though it might not have been a penalty the second time round. I think the first one was definitely a penalty.
Yeah.
So I think it just scratched each other out there. I think England deserved to win. They played the better game, more attacking. So at the end of the day, the Denmark guys can't feel too hard done by.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I think the team who made most of the attacking play won the game in the end. They showed the most intent. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. And Schmeichel, what a legend. I think he saved a couple of Maguire's headers.
Yes.
Yes, and it's just unbelievable how Schmeichel, lifts that Denmark team, but unfortunately even saves the penalty. But the rules allow Kane to go for the rebound.
Yeah.
And so that's unfortunate. But did you check the laser in Kane's in Schmeichel's face?
I saw an article I saw on Sky Sports. Yeah, he didn't realize that it was happening. So
no. Luckily. Otherwise, it would have been more controversy.
Yeah, it's bad that fans do these kind of things. I mean, it shouldn't really happen.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But what a fantastic game. What a fantastic advert for football.
Yes.
And, it's going to be a fantastic final.
Yes.
Italy versus England. What are your thoughts, your predictions about the final coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I spoke about previously, I spoke about the Italy team who doesn't really have superstars. I think there are a few players that we've never heard of. So I think their team spirit is fantastic. I think they've shown the most cohesion throughout the tournament in that they really play for each other, and it's really a tight unit and a fantastic spirit. I mean, they in the semi-final, Spain made all the play, but they just stuck to their plan and they just kept fighting and they never gave up, and they ended up winning on penalties. So it's going to be tough. I almost still think Italy in my mind, but I won't be surprised at all if England win it, of course. Yeah. And your thoughts?
Look, I think you're spot on there with Italy's team spirit, and they gel nicely together. And that's the thing with sport and soccer is you got players who are not well known or as high profile as the English players, and they're performing at the tournaments. And that's what's so lacquer about sport is that people who are not well known can make a name for themselves. And I think anything can happen in a final. Anything can happen in a final. I think the two best teams in the tournaments, in my opinion, are in the final. So I think it's going to be a cracker. how do we call this one? How do I call it, being a massive England fan? Look, it's been played at Wembley, 60-odd thousand fans. The atmosphere was a cracker against Denmark.
Yes.
You got to remember that it's a home game for England.
Yes.
And the team spirit in the England camp is pretty good. I'm not sure if you saw the celebrations after the semi-final.
Yes, no, definitely.
Equally, I think the team spirits in both Italy and England are fantastic. So to call this one's going to be very tough. I wouldn't bet my house on it, but I think I would definitely look. I've been loyal to England throughout the whole tournament. I've called them they will be in the final. So I'm going to stick with England.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm sticking with England is because Immobile, he has not been performing for Italy up front. So unless he, comes to light in the final, I think Italy are going to struggle. I think Kane is performing nicely. Although he's not scoring many goals, he's holding up the ball nicely. He's playing a good tactical game. So I think England have got more of the players that are performing than Italy at the moment. So I would think Italy are going to struggle in terms of scoring goals. And if they do score goals, it will probably be set pieces. I don't see them scoring open play because John Stones and Maguire, Luke Shaw, Walker, those are, they've got the best defensive record in the whole tournament. So
Look, I think the Wembley factor is a big thing. They are playing at home. It's to a huge advantage for them. But having spent time in England myself, and I think if you watch all the shows and you see the English press, it's almost as if they're already talking about being winners.
It's coming home.
Yeah, it's coming home. I mean, the whole slogan, they have to be very, very careful to not get ahead of themselves and think about the celebrations rather than play. But the way you put it, England will probably be favourites in front of the Wembley crowd, yes. But I think it's going to be very interesting in an open game. I think a big positive is as well that Southgate has found his best 11. And
with Saka they are. He's not even sure, actually, if you think about it. I mean, Southgate's doing a great job. He's making very big calls, very brave decisions regarding substitutions. And also, a lot of people questioned the timing of his substitutions. He took Grealish off after bringing him on. So I hope for England's sake that if it does go 1-0 in the second half, early in the second half, 1-0 to England, or if they go up by a goal, I really hope for Southgate's sake that he doesn't pull a whole defensive mode and take off attacking players and put defensive ones on. Because let's face it, England's bench is massive. Italy's also got a great bench. But I just really hope that it's attacking football to the last second of the game. And I hope that, because it was a strange decision taking Grealish off again.
It's always weird.
As soon as he comes on, they score goals. But that's his decision, and it worked for them then. But I think England's bench is powerful. I almost I was WhatsApping my brother 2 nights ago, and I was saying, when are they going to bring Sancho on? Even Rashford. I mean, they don't even make it. It's unbelievable.
It's a very interesting point that you make, because both teams have to think about, because normally if you're ahead, you take attacking players off and put more defensive players on the field, but those defensive players might not be good at scoring penalties. So you can't really just go full on defensive and then a goal is scored and then it's extra time and penalties, and you sit with more defensive minded players who don't often take shots at goal, and then they have to take the penalties. So there's so much to think about.
So much. And when do you make your subs? Because in a final, it could go all the way to penalties. Denmark made the mistake. They made all their substitutes early into the second half. So they were struggling with fitness at the end. So, a manager's got to think about all these different things. So it's difficult, and that's why I say Southgate made brave decisions. To put one of your best players on, Grealish, in my opinion, and take him off again. Was a massive decision, but it paid off for him that time.
No, it's going to be huge. I hope they're practicing their penalties, and For England, it's big because it's their first major tournament since 1966. I mean, Italy has always been around finals and they've won World Cups fairly recently and so forth. So for England, this is massive. And you just saw, you obviously watched Sky Sports and all that and saw the celebrations after the game and all the discussions. My big fear is that they get ahead of themselves. But the Wembley factor and the team gelling, be careful, be watchful for Italy, but I think England's probably favourites.
Yeah, England's favourites. And I think you're saying that they possibly might be ahead of themselves. I think you are right, but we must remember that Southgate is a type of manager that is in control, and he's the type of guy who the players will look to him, and they'll definitely, I think they'll be switched on to a certain point where they need to know that they can't be complacent. So I think Gareth Southgate's got enough experience from losing in semi-finals in big tournaments when it comes to complacency. So hopefully that happens on Sunday night. But it's going to be a cracker final for the neutrals. What a match to watch.
Yes.
For the people who are supporting Italy and England, it's going to be a nail biter.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like a 4-0, 3-0 match.
No.
Look,
do you want to risk a score? Do you want to
let's
predict?
do it. I would definitely say 2-1 England.
2-1.
2-1 England, and I say that it's going to go to extra time.
Okay.
England are going to win it 2-1 in extra time.
I just said I started my conversation by saying Italy. You've almost swayed me now to want to second guess what I said. I'm going to say it's going to go all the way to penalties, 1-1, and then I think Italy's going to win it on penalties.
Because their keeper's on form, eh?
Donnarumma, I think, was, in my opinion, probably the best keeper in the competition so far.
Yeah, I agree with you. Look, Pickford,
maybe Kasper Schmeichel and Donnarumma,
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
But if England win it, it won't be a train smash for me. I mean, we all support the Premier League and we know the players. So
if you're a neutral, I think you've got to go for England. But because of the whole fact that they haven't won the European Cup before. So I think if you're very neutral, you've got to go for England. If you're putting your house on the house or putting a lot of money on this, my advice would be to you is to withdraw that because you don't want to be betting on this one.
No, probably
you don't want to be betting on this one.
Okay.
But, fantastic.
Yeah, looking forward to the game on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it, and we'll have a chat afterwards.
Yes, definitely.
To see if our predictions and thoughts were correct, and talk a bit about the tactics that happened.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, stay safe. Keep well.
Man. You too. God bless, and stay safe, and everyone have a good one. Stay safe at home with your families, and enjoy it.